Ina mana, ina waka, ina reo. Ira rangatirama. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora everyone, my name's Kerry Topp and welcome to the fifth 4InSights session. These sessions are about unlocking the foresight and insight of digital experts to help accelerate you as business leaders and your digital aspirations. It's wonderful to have you here. And so, why are we here? Well, it's simple. It's 3 insights in 10 minutes. And the way that we deliver that is one thought leader with 3 rounds of questions from me and pretty much wrapped up in 10 minutes flat. So who are we going to hear from today? Well, we're blessed again for the second time to have Liz Maguire, who's the founder and director of 5 Points Digital. Liz, welcome again.
Kia ora, Kerry. Thanks for having me back.
Oh no, it's great. Look, it was wonderful last time, and I'm really looking forward to this one because you've been doing these blog posts, and I just love them because there's little bits of insights and stuff like that. Now this is quite topical at the moment, and do you want to talk us through what we're going to talk about
Well,
today?
you've heard, Kerry, about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This is the customer hierarchy of needs. These are the things that I think you really need to think about if you want to deliver really great experiences and great products for customers.
Awesome, so let's set the tone. We're gonna rip straight into this. So, look, last time we talked, you talked, and I love this I guess analogy, which was you don't go and wallpaper the hallway while the house is on fire, and so how do you work out where the customer fires are and where are the fruitful areas to look?
So this is the bottom part of the pyramid, right? Which is actually about taking a good hard look at yourself, being inward looking at what your customers are trying to tell you, doing some discovery around customer needs. Now, remember, everyone knows the Henry Ford, I would have built a faster horse, if
Yeah.
I'd asked people what they wanted. Turns out Kerry he never actually said that, which is deeply disappointing to me. But apparently he believed in the principles, which is that customers aren't terribly good at coming up with solutions for their problems, but they are actually really, really good at telling you what their needs are. And so putting some effort into discovering needs, putting some effort into anticipating future needs is really, really important. And I think a good example of that back in my banking days was when we were developing an online application form for credit cards. Everybody thought that, obviously, logically, the shorter the form, the easier it would be for customers. But actually, when we did testing, what customers told us was that they didn't feel like we were going through the credit decisioning process properly by making it quick. And actually, we had to build in more information and we had to take a longer time in order to develop that trust for customers.
I'd want to know that you were taking due process around it, not just streamlining me through. So you'd open me up well, potentially open myself up, I should say, around credit and credit debt, right? Yeah, nice insight. And you wouldn't have got that without sort of observing, asking, talking with your customers, right?
Listening to your customers.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, question two. So, how do you, as a leader, and I love this term, look beyond your walls and anticipate customers' needs? And can you give us a specific example of that?
Well, I think that for a start, no industry is an island, right? Like I call this keeping up with the Joneses because actually all your digital customers are using everybody else's digital services as well. So there's an awful lot that you can learn, not just from your competitors, but from other industries, from the platform companies, because they're doing lots of work around what does good digital experience look like as well.
Yeah.
It's super important, I think, to look at what your competitors are doing. If a significant number of your competitors have a feature that you don't, then you are behind the market and you need to catch up, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
you should look at adjacent industries and go, well, what innovations have they got that can help me? And I think one of the classic ones for me is the ability we now have to track where a package is when it's being delivered
Hmm.
probably came from people in those industries looking at somewhere like Uber and going, well, they could manage to track where the taxi is. So, absolutely being outward looking at other industries. The I think the other thing too is you have to be careful around figuring out, is it a fad or is it a trend? You don't want to go chasing after every single fad, or
Yeah.
you really won't get stuff delivered for your customers.
No, and in my experience of looking across multiple organisations, you can see organisations chasing some of those fads, and not really thinking about what is the actual need and what's it in service of, and so marketing innovation, right? Hey, let's go to number 3, the final question before we wrap. So question 3 is innovation happens at the edges. And what I mean by that is it really happens where you get diversity, you get people from various domains or knowledge and insight, and breaking down silos, diversity of thought. So how do leaders look beyond their immediate industry, where most people feel safe, and be open to that discovery? And do you have any tips and tricks for it?
So this is the pinnacle of the pyramid, and I'm pretty sure it'd be your favorite piece in the pyramid, Kerry, because it's certainly mine too. It's where the magic happens. And a lot of this, I think, is about, exactly like you say, innovation at the crossroads and getting people from different disciplines to come and work on your problems. I've just been reading a book about the first sequencing of the human genome, and they made progress not because geneticists were, solving the problem, because they brought data scientists in. And there's so many examples of that, where if you get people with a different skill set who have got a different approach or a different set of tools, that you might make some surprising advances in the problem that you're trying to solve. I think the other thing to think about is that strategic question, which I call, are you streaming music online, or are you streaming music, or are you selling CDs online? Because that's a fundamental question around, do you just want to digitize something that you've got in the physical world, in which case you're probably moving down the pyramid a bit, or are you actually wanting to rethink the whole way that industry happens? And if the answer to that is yes, the rethink, you're going to need different people from outside the industry with different perspectives.
Yeah, and look, for me, having experienced a number of years within innovation, the more diverse that you have, and there's lots of research that talks about the diversity of thought and people, etc. I'm always pushing for diversity, and the reason for that is it absolutely gives you the best outcomes. And a lot of the hackathons I've done have really illustrated firsthand the most diverse teams are the ones that generally, and 95% of the time, win and take things out. So, look, I know that you've talked on this topic, or you've got something out at the moment. There's an opportunity, given that we're trying to plug in different people. Do you want to just talk about what you've done?
Well, so here's my shameless plug, which is every week on a Wednesday, I write a newsletter with specifically for transformation leaders, with some thoughts and some insights about how you can be better. Actually, happily, this week it's talking about transformation leaders transforming themselves, which is that idea about being open to learning and new ways of doing things and being curious. So it's really kind of we're on message this week, and I'd encourage you to find the content or to subscribe at my website.
Awesome, cool, and that's 5points.co.nz, obviously. Hey, look, in terms of rounding out in the available minute that we've got, so what I heard was take a good look at yourself in context of what your customers are saying, and more importantly, what they need. So it's not necessarily what they are physically saying themselves, it's what you're observing, what's been unsaid. It's not the verbal, but it's the non-verbal. And it's the motivations that go. Your views are important, but not as important as the customers. The other thing that I'd add to that, from my perspective, is that customers are part of ecosystems, part of a broader stakeholder group. So really don't just look at them in the context of customers, look at them in context of society, look at them in context of mana whenua, look at them in context of local government. That they all play a part in that. So the other side is that your business doesn't operate in a vacuum, and customers operate, as I said, in the ecosystem, and they're working with other industries and platforms. So it really offers you the opportunity to see where they are, what they're doing, and who they're interacting with, and how you might meet that, but also how you might jump over that in terms of an experience. And then the final piece that I think I got there, Liz, was around innovation and breakthroughs happen at the edge. So actively seeking other industries and domain knowledge and getting them involved in what you're doing, and even open up to the ecosystem, open up to communities, etc. is the way to go. Sorry about that alarm. Be open to challenge and be ready to take that on. That is us, folks. That alarm was the signal to send 10 minutes. I apologise for that. Thank you, and kei runga noa atu, which as always says onwards and upwards. Liz, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kerry.
And take care, everyone. Ka kite anō.